Most people think they know what dangerous fighting looks like. Big punches, flashy kicks, maybe a few broken bones. But that's the illusion. That's the surface-level violence the world is comfortable showing you. The truth, the real truth, is far darker. There exists a category of techniques so destructive, so psychologically crushing, that they were banned, erased, or hidden, not because they were ineffective, but because they worked too well. These are techniques built from war, assassination, body shutdown science, and pure survival instinct. They were created in eras where losing a fight didn't mean embarrassment, it meant death. And when you understand that, you start to see why these moves never appear in mainstream martial arts today. They weren't designed to win rounds. They were designed to remove threats permanently. Here's what most people will never admit. Every human body has mechanical weaknesses baked into its design. Tendons that tear with a single angle. Nerves that shut down reflexes instantly. Structural points that collapse with only a few pounds of pressure. The banned techniques you're about to learn don't fight the person. They fight the architecture of the body itself. And when you attack the architecture, strength doesn't matter. Size doesn't matter. Experience doesn't matter. The body simply fails. But here's the psychological trap. Because these techniques are forbidden, most fighters never study them, and that makes them completely blind to how real violence actually works. They train for sport. They train for rules. They train for honor. Meanwhile, the world's most dangerous fighters train for one thing: certainty. Certainty that when a threat appears, there is no second round, no recovery, no comeback. And as you watch this list, you'll notice something unsettling happening inside your mind. You'll start to see how fragile the human body really is. You'll start to understand why governments, instructors, and entire martial systems locked these techniques away. And you'll realize a chilling truth. Fights aren't won by who's stronger. They're won by who understands what the human body cannot survive. Today, you're about to learn exactly that. 1. Cervical spine drop, neck break variant. This technique targets the weakest engineering point of the human spine, the cervical vertebrae. By pulling or twisting the opponent's head while dropping your body weight, you create a sudden rotational torque the neck simply cannot handle. What makes it terrifying is not the damage itself, but how fast the outcome occurs. The brain loses control over everything below the injury point instantly. No strength can resist it, no training can absorb it, and no instinct can counter it. This move was banned in multiple military systems because it turns a fight into a shutdown switch. One angle, one drop, and the opponent's entire frame collapses like the power was cut from their body. 2. Tracheal crush. Not a punch, not a strike, a folding. The trachea, your windpipe, is protected by only a thin ring of cartilage. When compressed inward with vertical pressure, it doesn't bruise, it buckles. A fighter who takes a clean tracheal crush cannot shout, cannot breathe, cannot fight. The panic response alone shuts down half the nervous system. Special units abandoned this move because it caused immediate fatality at even moderate force. But the real reason it was banned is psychological. When someone loses their airway, they don't fight back. They enter primal desperation, and the encounter ends instantly. 3. Groin tendon snap. Most people think groin attacks are just painful. They have no idea how much darker it can go. When the peroneal tendon is struck upward or inward with proper angle, it doesn't just hurt, it tears. This tear sends a shock wave through the pelvis, causing the legs to buckle and the abdominal muscles to go offline for seconds. It's the closest thing to hitting the off switch on the lower body. In ancient systems, this was a battlefield equalizer used against armored opponents because the armor could not protect certain angles. Modern systems banned it due to permanent damage and psychological trauma. 4. Carotid sinus strike. This technique exploits a tiny reflex hidden in your neck, the carotid sinus. When struck sharply, It tricks the brain into thinking your blood pressure has spiked to lethal levels. The body responds by dropping it instantly. The result? Blackout, collapse, total loss of motor control. And the craziest part? It doesn't require strength. A small fighter can shut down a giant using this one reflex. That's exactly why sport combat outlawed it across the board. If this strike were allowed, matches would end before they began. This move is pure neurological manipulation, and the body cannot resist it. 5. Knee capsule shear, inside-out knee break. The knee is strong only when it bends in one direction. Every other angle, it's paper. The band knee shear attacks the capsule from the inside or outside, forcing the joint to open in a way it was never designed to move. When the ligaments snap, the body doesn't fall slowly, it collapses violently. No fighter can stand or continue after this. Military systems removed it because it left soldiers permanently disabled. You aren't attacking the opponent, you're deleting their ability to walk, balance, or generate power. One angle, and the fight changes forever. 6. Orbital fracture punch. This technique isn't about hitting the eye, it's about breaking the orbit that surrounds the eye. A tight, penetrating punch delivered at the right angle crushes the orbital rim and sends shock directly into the brainstem. Vision distorts, balance collapses, panic takes over. This was banned because the fracture fragments can damage the eye permanently or even cause brain injury. When a fighter suffers this, their ability to track movement disappears. They literally cannot aim or defend. It's a violence level far beyond sports, and every system that tried it eventually removed it for being too catastrophic. 7. Liver compression shot. Most people know body shots hurt, but a liver compression is in another universe. When the strike compresses the liver against the rib cage, the organ sends an emergency overload signal to the brain, a full system shutdown. The body folds involuntarily, legs quit, breath evaporates, and consciousness flickers. Even elite fighters have dropped instantly from a clean liver shot. Now imagine performing it with band rotational torque that focuses all force into one organ. That's why it's outlawed almost everywhere. The liver doesn't care about strength or toughness. It reacts like a breaker switch tripped, and the fight ends before the mind understands what happened. 8. Basler jaw dislocation. This band technique attacks the hinge of the jaw from below or from the side, forcing it upward into the skull or outward into dislocation. This isn't just pain, it's a neurological overload. The trigeminal nerve fires a panic signal that shuts down coordination instantly. The victim becomes disoriented, nauseous, and unable to form a coherent response. Martial systems abandoned this technique because the jawbone, when dislocated with upward force, can fracture into the ear canal or even compromise blood vessels. It's a perfect example of how something small can break the entire structure of the fight. 9. Kidney collapse drive. A strike to the kidney isn't like any other body shot. It's hidden under minimal muscle, exposed from certain angles, and directly connected to pain receptors that overwhelm the brain. When the kidney is struck sharply, the body responds with full body paralysis. The breath locks, the hips collapse, and nausea takes over instantly. This technique was banned because the damage is unpredictable. Internal bleeding can start without any external signs. You're not hurting the opponent, you're shutting down their survival system from the inside. 10. Achilles tendon slice and tear. This move isn't about pain, it's about ending mobility. When the Achilles tendon is cut, stomped, or hyperextended, the foot can no longer flex, meaning the opponent cannot stand, run, or generate power. Ancient battlefield soldiers used this to permanently disable enemies attempting to flee or rush with weapons. Modern systems banned it because recovery can take a year, and even then, full strength rarely returns. Once the Achilles goes, the fight is over. There is no counter, no recovery, no toughness. The body simply collapses into immobility. It's strange, isn't it? How after learning these band techniques, you start noticing something about your own body. You feel the neck differently, the ribs differently. Even the knees and liver suddenly feel more vulnerable than they did 10 minutes ago. And that's the part nobody talks about. Once you understand the truth behind real violence, your brain refuses to go back to the movie version of fighting. You start analyzing angles, weak points, structures, almost without meaning to. If you're feeling that right now, that subtle shift in awareness, that little spark of, wait, I never knew the body could fail like that, that's exactly the sign that you're not like the average viewer who watches and forgets. You actually process what you learn, you absorb it, you think. And I want to see how your mind works. Tell me, which technique didn't just surprise you, but changed the way you see the human body? The cervical spine drop, the carotid shutdown, the Achilles rupture? Which one made you rethink everything? Type it in the comments because I'm genuinely curious which point hit your psychology the hardest. And since this is literally the first video on this entire channel, there's something interesting about you even being here this early. Most people will arrive months later and say, I wish I found this channel when it started. But you're standing at the foundation, the first layer, the people who shape the direction of what comes next. So here's the silent test, the kind only early viewers ever get. If you want more of these forbidden, uncomfortable truths that nobody else teaches, help me reach the first 100 subscribers, not because of hype, not because of algorithms, but because the first 100 people decide what this channel becomes. Comment your shock point. Subscribe if you want to stay ahead of everyone who finds this later, and watch what happens next, because this isn't the end. It's the beginning of how you'll start seeing combat forever.